Today on Drawbli,
Ben is painting a cute baby cow.
click that subscribe button if you're new around here.
And comment below with ideas of what we can do to improve as artists.
And if you're drawing a baby cow or maybe something else, be sure to share that art online with the hashtag Drawbli.
Yes. So, Ben, baby cow, what led you here? No song, no song.
What did lead me here? That's a great question. I do remember now. I was scrolling on Pinterest looking for some inspiration.
Yes.
And I saw this beautiful cow painting in the style of Leyendecker. And I don't think it was made by Leyendecker. I'm almost positive it wasn't. But I was like, wow, that cow's beautiful. I need to paint a beautiful cow. So I went searching on the Google Images, trying to find a cow. A lot of the images were terrible, and then I found this cute guy.
That is so cute. What a great picture. And it has it all. It has composition, it has contrast, and it has very cute.
And it has very cute. All artwork must have those three ingredients.
Yes, it must.
It must have the very cute.
So what was your biggest takeaway from painting a little cow?
My biggest takeaway was at the end when I was like, I wish I would have started this focusing a little more on form. I kind of fall into this trap initially where I'm working a little more painterly, and so I have two encampments where I start a little more painterly or where I start really focused on form, and both of them have their issues where when I start this way, things end up kind of feeling like not very three-dimensional, not very solid. But when I start the other way, everything feels really three-dimensional, really solid, but then like it lacks the kind of lively energy of a painting. It feels like, you'll see here in a coming up painting where I kind of focus more on that. So I'm trying to find that middle ground between the two. So that was my biggest takeaway.
Something you and I have discussed recently is how beneficial it can be to learn from other beginners. Yes, you want to get your ultimate advice from experts in the field, specifically teachers, but watching other beginners explore the pitfalls that maybe you are more close to stepping into than, say, a master artist. I think there is a lot to gain there. Just saying, oh yeah, I struggle with that seemingly simple thing too, that a master teacher may be so like, they might not even know what to say to that because it's such a part of their second nature of how they create art.
Abby just winked at me really big because this was a comment that we received from Lord Backdoor. Not just Backdoor, Lord Backdoor, which was a very kind comment, kind person in general, and we appreciate his comments every time. But I completely agree. I think in terms of like having a community for the thing that you do, imagine if, we go climbing a lot, bouldering. Imagine if every time we went bouldering, we were climbing with people that were like twice as good as us. We would be so discouraged all the time. So I think it's really important in your community to have people that are like-leveled.
Which is definitely at odds with what I used to believe, which was, why would I want to learn from somebody who is not at a high level? They're just going to teach me wrong. And certainly there's probably a risk of that, like,
No, we're not teaching.
But we're not teaching, we're learning alongside. Kind of the benefit, if you think about it, of like why people like to go to classes sometimes at a college versus taking online classes, go to the brick and mortar, because that camaraderie and learning alongside of others
it's important.
Is powerful, yes.
It's powerful.
I wish that so much all the time for studying Japanese that I had a class I could go to and learn alongside other people physically in an environment. But I don't have that, and I feel its absence, especially when you talk about how amazing it was, and how really helpful it was. I think there's so much to be gained from that, and if we can have that in an online community, even to some extent, I think there's a lot of value in that.
Absolutely, yeah. I think community is super important. It's for a long time been something that I wouldn't say disregarded, but was like lower on my spectrum of cares. But yeah, I for sure think it's super important.
One thing I really want to try in Cincinnati is this group that we discovered
Oh yeah, there's this really cool painting group.
Yeah, well, I was talking to an artist at the Cincinnati Comic Con because there's so many fun artists.
Comic
to talk
Expo.
To. Comic Expo. Sorry.
You should be.
And we were just talking about art, and then he got so excited he pulled out the sketchbook because I was asking him more questions. And if you talk to him a little more, they'll sometimes pull out like.
Do you remember who
what
it
they're
was?
working personally on. No.
That's okay.
I'll link him below if I can think of it. But I probably won't be able to unless I took his card. But he had this group that he goes to the Cincinnati Zoo with called the Cincinnati Urban Sketchers or Urban Sketchers of Cincinnati.
Something like that, yeah.
And they just all go to the zoo and they set up. And a lot of them work in physical mediums. They even have like a little stamp they stamp the papers with.
Ooh, fancy.
But I'd love to dabble here and there in a physical medium. I feel like digital and
could
physical
dabble.
Inform one another. Yeah. So we might try that out at some point. Go to the zoo with the Urban Sketchers.
I don't think they just go to the zoo. But
he said they meet at the zoo once a month.
Oh, really?
But he also had artwork done with them that was at like local bars. He had a very charming buffalo wings and dip and celery piece that he had done.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, that sounds really cool. I remember years ago I was looking for something similar because I thought that would be like a really great way to get into painting and drawing. But I couldn't find anything like that. And the reason why, apparently, is because it was a Facebook group. And I don't use Facebook.
Well, I wouldn't have known about it either, besides going to a physical community thing like the Cincinnati Comic Expo, where so many artists gather. And if you take the time to talk to them, you can learn so much about like local things like that are really cool. And other things. Oh, I learned so much just from there. There was the guy that painted giants and set them in tiny locations. And just learning about his process he didn't just say, let me draw a little city and put a giant in there. He would create sets of tiny little cities and have his model go sit in it and shift the lighting, create the lighting, so that when he painted it, he had the lighting, he had everything. Nothing was just from imagination there, and it showed.
He had real references.
He'd been to art school in Indiana.
Indiana. Wow, what a magical sounding place.
Yes.
I wanted to mention, I should have stopped working on this cow here. Because a big part that I wanted to try with the line decker style was this kind of hatching with the lines, which you can see very clearly here. And I end up blurring out so much of that. I'll have to go back to my cow and maybe undo and try to get back some of this. Because I actually really like the aesthetic that it gives. Line decker obviously uses it a lot better than I can, where he uses it to inform the volumes of his forms. And it's something that some really, I can't think of the artist's name, but he's Bridgman. Bridgman, a really popular anatomical artist and teacher. People recommend his books all the time. And I believe Bridgman taught line decker. Also does this kind of style. Obviously a lot better than I am illustrating here, so please look up some Bridgman and line decker art. To see better examples, but I also thought it was kind of giving, like a more fuzzy, kind of furry look. So I thought that was kind of a cool accidental thing that was happening from it.
I like that. No, I think this cow turned out amazing, and he's really fun to look at. He's very cute. I love the Lion Decker hatchwork you have here. I love to see you pushing in that direction, because I think it's going to be really exciting as you continue to pursue this style, to see how far you take it and how much you begin to master it as time goes on with your iterative style. Because this isn't the first time you've approached a Lion Decker style, I think. Or tried to emulate it. So as you continue with it, I think it's going to be really cool to see how
maybe
well
we
you
can
work on
practice it at one of these little drawing meetups. We'll have to see when they're doing the next one and go check it out.
Yeah.
I think it sounds really fun.
I think so too. I'm trying to decide what I want to do digital or really try and learn about watercolors.
Well, if it's outside, it'd be hard to do digital.
Would you
Difficult
be interested
to see the
in
screen.
trying physical mediums?
Probably not.
No? Aw, well, it might be fun. All right. Well.
well. And that's the day that Drawbli ended.
Okay, Ben.
So I tried to blur this cow here at the end because, we've been talking about edges so much, and it's like hey, blur your edges, or blur all the information that's not important. And I was like, the face, I'll blur everything except for the face. And then I was like, oh no, I've blurred way too much. And it just kind of, it got away from me.
Yeah, well, no, I think you still held on, though, to the core elements, especially in the face and a little bit up in that upper shoulder you can see. I don't think you destroyed this piece at all. I think it's still very cute and holds up really well. And it looks like you learned a lot from working on this, and so that's a huge plus.
Always learning, even when you feel like you're not. That's the fun thing about doing Drawbli.
Yes, absolutely. Always learning, even when it feels like you're not.
And if you want to learn more, you should be drawing using the hashtag Drawbli and sharing that online. And of course, click that subscribe button if you want to see some more Leyendecker inspired cows in the future.
And comment below with ideas of what we can do to improve. And this is the part where we say goodbye.
Goomba. Abby, what's your favorite tea?
I don't have a favorite tea. They're all good. Why would I choose one tea over another? Wow, Ben.
What tea are you drinking right now?
Organic pomegranate white tea from Trader Joe's.
Wow, shout out to Trader Joe's.
Shout out to Trader Joe's, sponsor this video. This video is sponsored by Raid Legends Shadow
Oh
and
my,
Trader
okay,
Joe's.
okay. That's it, we're done.